Burns Night is upon us. And so in case you're unfamiliar, Burns Night is a national holiday in Scotland to celebrate the life of its national poet, Robert or Robbie Burns. Welcome to my LingQ kingdom. I am Carl, and I am learning Nihongo, Cymraeg, and Gaelic. And I'm going to be talking about Burns Night and also the language that Robert Burns spoke. Burns Night is always on January 25th, Robbie Burns' birthday. So, if you're going to be celebrating Burns Night, then you're going to need some takish. And in Gaelic, that's how you say haggis. I will not be having any haggis this year, unfortunately. So even though Robert Burns was probably not a Gaelic speaker, he would have been familiar with hearing Gaelic a lot since he lived in Scotland around the end of the 18th century. And a lot of his poems and other works have been translated into Gaelic over the years. Translated from English? Did he write with a very heavy accent or something? No, he actually wrote in something called Scots, and that is another language from Scotland that is still spoken today. And so I was actually asking my friend Tommy Mackay over at the Scotsman about this, because Tommy Mackay, in addition to being a Gaelic learner, is also someone who is well versed in Scots. And I asked him, I said, this debate has been going on for a long time. Where do you fall in the debate of whether or not Scots is a dialect or an actual language? And he said, well, Carl, why don't you tell me? So a Scots speaker has challenged me to read some sentences in Scots and figure out how much of it I can actually understand to prove whether or not it's a language or a dialect. And this will be tricky for me since I didn't ken much Scots. So follow along with me and let's see how much of it you can understand too, okay? I'm going to do my best to pronounce these phrases properly. That might be a little tricky since I feel like it's going to be hard to say them right, especially without trying to do some type of accent. But we'll just go with it, okay? So if you do speak Scots, you can laugh at me down in the comments. The laddie wha lived, Mr. Dursley, wis the head bummer o a firm called Grunnings that made drills. So, I recognize this as the opening line of the first Harry Potter book. So I guess this would translate to the boy that lived, Mr. Dursley, was the head bummer. Manager, businessman, something like that, of a firm, a business called Grunnings that made drills. So the only thing in here that's really hard is head bummer. Let's see what that is. I don't really remember. Person of authority. Okay, so in English it would be director of a firm. Head bummer. Okay. Ill will can make a stushy, but love can settle a stramish. Stramish sounds kind of like stomach. Stushy, is that like an illness? Or a wound? Oh, this is actually related to the Bible. Proverbs 10:12. That's cool. So, ill will can make a row, but love can settle a fight. Oh, that's cool. I knew that Harry Potter had been translated into Scots, but now I want to see if I can find a Bible translated into Scots. That would be amazing. Glaikit. He stood there with a glaikit look on his physig. I'm guessing that's he stood there with a glazed look on his face. Glaikit look on his physig. Full sentence is stupid. He stood there with a stupid look on his face. Okay, glaikit. Glaikit? So I did not get that right. It is not synonymous with glazed look. Although if somebody has a glazed look, you could call that a stupid expression. So from context, it's a little bit. So physig, we got face, and look, so all of that there, all of this more kind of simple words like he stood there, we, look, his, those are all like very similar to what we would call modern English. But glaikit and physig, I'm probably not pronouncing those right. Did not get that completely right. Auld Reiki Wela Ilka Town. Auld Reiki Wela Ilka Town. Auld, I think, is old, like in the typical New Year's song Auld Lang Syne, which is actually, I think, from Robert Burns, and it's in Scots. But the rest of it, I I'm lost. I'm lost on this one. Let's see what it means. What? Edinburgh? So Aldreiki means Old Smoky, which refers to Edinburgh. Edinburgh, best of every town. Aldreiki, Wela Ilka town. Old Smoky, best of every town. I would not have gotten that in a million years. Oh, wow. Okay. Kam or an gias a bossi. I'm guessing based on the image here that it has something to do with a hug, and it reminds me a little bit of the phrase give us a squidge, which is another British slang term. But this, yeah, without the image, it would be harder to figure out. I'm guessing it's come over here and give me a hug, something like that. Yeah, come here and give me a hug. Okay. So that one I got. I'm actually doing better than I thought I would be. So this looks like it's from a famous children's book. Richt you are, said the Gruffalo. Fit te burst. I'll walk ahint ye and ye gang first. So I'm guessing this is right you are, said the Gruffalo. Fit to burst. I'll walk behind you and you go first. Yes, I actually got that right. Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm understanding more of these than I expected. Okay, this one's a long one. Let's see. We Scotland's biggest skate o' bairns, Bukes and a ween o' Scots, skrivers hadden furth about a thing, fe koers, bratches te alfarant days a cooking te pictures. I did not get much of that. Scotland obviously is Scotland. We, Scotland's biggest. Skate o' bairns, Bukes. Based on the image, I'm guessing that's children's books, because bairns is wee bairn is a baby or a child. Bairns books and a ween o' Scots skrivers. Maybe that means Scots writers, people who can write in Scots, speak Scots. Hadden furth about ething fe koers vratches te alfarant days a cooking te pictures. The second half is, so I'm guessing the first half is something like, with Scotland's biggest group of children's books. Something like, either there's a lot of children's books in Scots or there's not a lot. And so the people who can write in Scots need to write more. Yeah, the second half, about anything, fe, about anything for. Koos fratches. Yeah, I am lost on the rest of this. I am guessing the last word might be pictures. Okay, so I got less than half of this. Let's see what it actually says. With Scotland's biggest selection of children's books and a good number of Scottish writers discoursing on everything from wicked wretches of days of old and from cooking to pictures. Okay, yeah, I got maybe a third of that. So, maybe this has educated you on what you think about whether Scots is really only a dialect. It's like, there's going to be some stuff that with context clues you can get because Scots does come from Middle English, but it's diverged a lot. No, there could be not just a whole book or a whole paragraph, but even just a whole sentence that's written in Scots that even if you're a native English speaker, you're not going to understand. So how many of those did you know? If you want to test yourself, then you can check out the rest of them in that Scotsman article by clicking the link down below. Long may your lumbreek.